As we talked about His Holiness, when we hear His Holiness name, it will bring us lots of happiness. And when we see His Holiness, then whoever, leaders, common people, of course, His Holiness himself, practitioner of Buddhism, and but even Hindu or Christian, whoever, when they see His Holiness, then what happens is they can generate a peaceful mind in their mental continuum.
무슨 진 다직 송직 퇴긴 바이나 단 오늘 자네기 다 얌참부죠 요레스 얌참 땅안주 다살다 야자망부 다 제바인자 아니 다 얌참부 쇼요레스로
So it's not only about seeing His Holiness, but when we hear His teachings, then it is something that it brings lots of happiness in mental continuum. As for us, it's something like that we have seen over and over again His Holiness Dalai Lama. But when we first hear his words, then it's brings lots of happiness.
인자 땅안 대용 다 로축직 하스 로요라스라 로축직 링레야직 나랑게 직 간신신 로지 이 아니 메망불라야 아니 ngoduchi gyunum nalolaya ngetsar mambul lamnyo yes ra chanso dele yon nga zan zinda yon ni yakbures ra imbayna ya ta chanso ta nangchu jilaya ka chokbare ani nangchu tengye chigiyore tichidige ngepordo misi chig nalolaya 야월무치 살찌긴지 야월무치 싸는 아니 즉 송주 살찌 년투 바이나 나자니 야타 년발레 디 아니 첼럽 체와다 뉴버치야 융구레스는 게 아니 삼반남다 토니 슈데바다 마무지 하코고레스
As for myself, I have been here now it's 11 years in this institute, and I always introduce and I always try to introduce Buddhist introduction to you, and I always saying with my clear motivation and very good motivation that okay, you can come here and listen to my teachings, but even it is better if you can visit or see His Holiness once and listen to his teachings once in a lifetime.
Tinzata talo nganzu chinda chubalaya ani nganzu ta group socheni tendroya gita mang chejilaya dosta dita kogobraya gi ani gashaja sort chagores chikchine kyonzu mang chetilaya nyamshu chingi sigbaros.
So this year we are planning to Yagalaro. So this year we are planning to visit India, and I think all of you will participate in this tour in the month of October.
더 드니 가르선 당 쉐 임보로디 겨울무지기 송퇴바당 안지 공무슨 제니 딘디기 지 다시 한다 만다버 아니 삼나노라야지 시디 용약이 겨울무지기 다지 캐주죠라서 디 다디 간다치니 겨울무지리야 디 가르치니 용거리 아니 디 가서 다지 남긴 안서 깨지시단 시바나 다디 지 규든 깬 간다질레 때니 추바레스 겨울무지 딘디지 간다치니 차바레스 지워디 안솔레 요바이나 아니 안솔레 다 펜도 베요레스 라
So as I talked earlier about His Holiness, so when we first see him, then even we listen his teachings, then if we talk generally, then if there is some questions, then it will be nice. This is what I feel. So how this cause and conditions arises? What are the causes and conditions? Why is it so something like that people can see His Holiness in a very different way? What are its causes and its conditions?
다디 당간주 탁 최부 토니 슈트게 디 데 넘버 상기비기 아니 지추 냠슬렘발 때니 केव थिंडी क्योजा यम बतता गैचा ज्ञान ज्ञाता मतलब तो ग्रेस
And as I said earlier, what are its causes and conditions? Then we can say that it's because of the practices of Buddhism. I can say 100% that it's because of the practices of Buddhism. This is the result.
तीन 겨울무지 잠불리 나로라야지 아니 셴다 만데비 केव 여바티 아니 규긴디 넘버 상기비 추 냠슬렘발 때니 용 여바이나 안간수 디난신치 용 쳐야기 규긴 여바디다 리베 드브쳐도 아스라
So if His Holiness is something very different from other people, it is because of the practices of Buddhism. Then we can generally think like this, or we ourselves can become like His Holiness too, if we practice the Buddhism ourselves.
또 겨울무지기 꾸이께왕 하만놈수 균니 넘버 상기비 추 냠슬레니 용 여바디 저단다 세부쇼즈레스 임바이나 땅아주 디참아 셰데바나다 뒤저리 간지 돈단 당가 말와스 이네야 꾸친 델야 겨울무지 공롱아니 체니 아니 겨우고 공미 겨우군디 쪽송바게 양실라야 문진다 공롱숨니 문진총 테니 공롱아니 체니다 간지 아니 넘버 상기비기 쳬레야 어두스 총요레스
And about His Holiness Dalai Lama, then he is a great practitioner. This we don't have to tell, but right in this lifetime, he is a great practitioner because in the past life, he is a great practitioner too. So I'm not going to tell what was happened in past life, but in this very lifetime, actually, His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama It's a reincarnation of 13th Dalai Lama, and since 5 years he has been prac- he has been practicing Buddhism from 5 years.
Teni gyawrama chigta mangbu song yorda, ten nani chig gonglo chugni choksam ni che ni, teni pena ta namba sangiwi ta chug nimbo dire, ene tongba nyi sayadi. Kanji chö namgi niluk tenla ya chig karso ta chig tuyik choya dang, tu nang yoba. Ani gonglo chugni ni yuesan song yores.
So His Holiness has been practicing Buddhism since a very young age, and especially about 12 to 13 years, when he was 12 years and 13 years, this Buddhism we have, there is special practice or special term called emptiness. Since 12 or 13 years, His Holiness himself is saying that I have been practicing or I have been hearing or contemplating and meditating on emptiness.
Terda dini ya peni dini ta chanchu ku sem sayad, ta kanchi ninji sayad. Rwa, tsewe samba ninji chongya dang, chanchu ku sem chongya di, ani gyawar mochi ku kuze nanglo la ya chik. Ani nima takpa chakme ki, zeba keche shu zin nangya di, ani di chakyo res.
His Holiness do practices and meditate on emptiness, but not only on this, but he always practice love and compassion and also altruism. So this is something that His Holiness do all the time.
Tenza kanchi tak kuna chongdu ni cheni, tak pena ta nganzo pyo kanjin chongla ya cha shawaya na, ani gyawar mochi sila wandi, dili mina keche chidang, ani gyawar mochi ki chit dili kosan towa jik, ani yomares. Ini dinti chiki ani tsen koni di ta ani gyawar mochi gonglo sumni chini, ani koni di tobarin tsen di tobares. Tsen di tobares. Laso.
Mm. From the very young age, His Holiness has been practicing, as I said earlier, emptiness and compassion. And with regard to Tibetan people, His Holiness is the uh, most revered, and His Holiness, anyhow, His Holiness himself got this name at a very young age. Plus,
Tini gonglo chudu ni chini, ani pyogi, ani gyabu liya tindin zebares. Gyabu koni di pyobares. Taro gonglo chudu ni chini.
and at the age of 16, uh, His Holiness become the leader of Tibet.
Ta pyogi lama cheshu di chare, pyogi gyabun toshu di chaware, redi ina ya gyawarambuchi ki gyundengi pigi chik mi chizo nanglo la ya, ani chik tindigi chik karso ta chik ani boba sonya da, tindi tsawa nini meba, nganzu chik mi pigi mi chik gyuruki, mi sunrachila tukba ina ya, mi chik gyuruki dushi songchen, bombo ina dra, 미규마이나라 토온디 찍버치야 지니 페야게 야와르모치라야 아니 그 연된지 인고레스.
So at the very young age, at 16 years, His Holiness became both spiritual leader in Tibet, and he has got very big name. But His Holiness has a very good quality that even though he has uh, such name, but whenever he visit to other people, other country or whatever, he has this such quality that he will remain down to earth always.
콩 야와르모치 코코미 양실레 응원zen chewani chene pyogi tachi 아니 포람포달라야 슈바레스. 아니 포람포달라 슈온디게 따지 봉부 토리토즈 아니 라마 체리체즈 디나 용고요레 아니 디 나로라야지 아니 개경인기 아니 개버서 용고요로스 야오rumbuche 아니 지 양고고 봉부서다 이임바 미요 그 개경에 소냠도야 아니 조보친 참부친 까미난 슈기요레스.
So this quality, so down to earth quality, is something that His Holiness possessed. And since when he was 3 years old, he has been reincarnated and uh, sent to resides in Potala Palace. And in Potala Palace, of course, His Holiness uh, has audience with lots of leaders and high lamas, but and also His Holiness also has very good reputation with even with sweeper also.
다드니 ngabchungaaguni cheni 아니 야오rumbuche 다페 샤니 아니 칠로라야 페 아니 주 야가리 데니 바다지 유럽리 데니 다샤조기 야급 데리지 학던지 오스트레일리아 소바다 아니 롬바 망부슈 질레야 페바로스 페비 카브둘라 pombutunanda mikyumatunanda 지 수투바이나야 지구지경기 라 차니 태모자치니 아니 90진 100을 마도 지 아니 지금 남의 땅샤바로다 딘디 짜오니니 야오르무치기 아니 시칼에 짜오니니 요 말레스 티케란즈다 야오르무치기 로지피기 따지 만즈 카르스월다 타톨라 요바 구글 톨라 지 제바이나 가드이네 디어레스.
So in 1959, His Holiness Dalai Lama left Tibet and went to India. And after that, His Holiness went to different countries, Europe, Australia, and to many other countries. And wherever he went to such countries, he met with the leaders and to many leaders. And when he went to these countries and meet these leaders, he will always remain down to earth. And this is something that you can Google it. And anyhow, what I'm trying to say here is he has such quality, down to earth quality uh, for His Holiness Dalai Lama.
데네다 딧섬 마임바다 야오르무치 제다다 남바산기위기다지 템바타우티 차거라스라 레디 임바이나야 지 출룩 셴바 순다지 투바이나야 아니 타직다 아니 구십 난 거레스 툰데 난 거레스 즉 출루 시행기 라간 간다지 뭐이냐 야버론지 펩 아니 구샤슈 스페셈 디니고 아니 딘디 쿠지시 거레스 잠블리 나노래 오늘 단다 출루 마부야즈 출루 참말로 즉 툰지 용약 쳇 야버론지 하장 그 꼴리게 요르스다 간지
So not only this, His Holiness actually is a leader of Buddhist section, and when he visited, when he visit uh, many different temples and church, when he visit these temples and church, he will make prostration, and uh, so he will also make that religious harmony, uh, religious harmony, and also like he will make religious harmony.
다 야버론지 다디 가르친 난거레스 실라바이다 다 하장 기더니 난존 잠블링라야 잠블링이 시딜라야 다치 걔네 쇼지 차가 열어서 난 잠블링 나로라야 지 시디 마용야 참도 마용야 깡가 용대 망부 지디 아니 지 비기 이엔제 그 싸움로 베나 미리 이엔제 그 싸움로 토니 아니 뇨그다 쇼 차가 열어서 샨누 그 미리 이엔제 지 딘지라 소베다 지 포무 미리 이엔제 아니 지 쳐봐도 쳐봐 많이 비 미리 이엔제 덴지 망보지 기때는 잠불레나 놀아야 뇨그다 다 하장기 뇨그다 전부 연구 열어서 대초 참마 세야기 탑직 여바디 먼저 미치 줄군 뒤시 송고야디 하장 냉가질라야 투고 반사 겨울무치 딜락다 나지 딜람데 난게 요레스
So why His Holiness is doing these things? It is because for the world peace, as we see here in this world, we have so many problems, and there are many differentiation, many differences are there. So actually, we are creating lots of problem ourselves, like differentiation between human level, differentiation like south and north, east and west, and also in difference in religion also. So we are creating such kind of differentiation. So His Holiness always try to solve this problem, and it's very necessary to have uh, the basic human values.
드니 양 뇨그다 체슈직 잠불레나 놀아야 독슈직디 출룩 펜조기 탱결토 초롱토 디비게 직 롱동장 망보르나야 뇨그다 체슈직디 출룩 만셴비토 총여러서라 디직 출룩 펜조 구지다 툰직 마종바이나 뇨그다 규마체도 용약이 시자직 차건자 디세야기 체도 겨울무치기 공부대시 람든 뜬난 거레스
So right now, one problem is that we have big problem is that in the name of religion, we are creating lots of problem. So you can go through the history and see that there are many problems with regard to religion. So this is my religion and this is his religion. So because of this problem, His Holiness emphasis on religious harmony, promotion of religious harmony.
Teni ta zamblin di thola ya chik shidi gi tsawa di degi gi tsawa di chamzi la tu yoba di ta sewu shora was. Di thola jawarum chik kule tse meba chik kyon kores.
So in this world, to have happiness, and the root of happiness is to generate compassion. To that, His Holiness is actually doing lots and lots of things to establish this.
Ta chik zamblin di nanglo la ya rintang chingi chamzi gi chik lobzhong yakbu chik ta yong kogu yoba di gyasha gyatang war was ro. An zamblin gi chik ani mitza mayinba sokcha yodo chodi ku chamzi gi tsowa la ya teni de yoban sa ani chamzi di kongbol tang goya da chamzi gi lobzhong yakbu chik goya di gyasha gyatang war chagan sa di gandachini yong tu gore di kani le yor ro debi longu tongcha mongbori la ya chik chamzi gi nyamne ani sabshu di ani karso wata rigbi lamni pe ani samlo tani chik chamzi tuyagi ani tablam di khani chong yores. Dus chiwale ondigi di gyaga phagbi yoni ro ani chik thurub ngaba thukba shiba ngaba tindi kawla ya chik ani yedengi gi ani nalenda university la sobani ta ngone thane gi chamzi gi lojong ani ting sabu shuch chong yorwasra tipe ani nyamso masona ti yagi tanya chedo gyawrombo chik tugi shu nangores.
So love and compassion to promote this, His Holiness, as I said earlier, to promote this love and compassion, His Holiness is doing many things. And if we ask question why it is necessary to promote love and compassion and how to promote this, and actually we need to understand and we need to study or we need to learn love and compassion, and this actually in Indian tradition, love and about love and compassion, and also like ancient Indian wisdom, it is something that vastly improved in Nalanda University. So we have taken this, I mean, His Holiness has himself studied and practiced a great practitioner of love and compassion, some based on Nalanda University.
Ta chik thurub piki ta chik shiba ngabe kawle ni chongshabi ge ani chik chamzi re ani tsewa mebi ta dhubku ta chik lobzhong ani tsen thongpo uti ro anzu ta thurub nishta chikbi nanglo la ya che shindu gongko yongin ki ani dindik chik ani suegyung rigni di ta tandi chala ya lobzhong chesa ki pena ani kei roji chasha waya na kei kari tola yoris la waya na di gyawarum chik song deya ki pyo ke dan pyo yi ki tola ya ta di gyacha gyani gyatamba yoris kei di mato kei shen ki tola ya teni thurab shiba ngabani chongshabi ani Nalanda University nima gyubi ta chik suigyung ki ani rigni kyaba chen di tandi chala zambulin nanglo la ya chik lobzhong chesa ki kei shenpa chik 찬상아직 더 벽에 벽마도 사요 말했어.
So this uh, ancient Indian wisdom, or with regard to this love and compassion and so on, which is actually based uh, in Nalinda University, which is highly developed uh, from the fourth and fifth century, and this is very relevant in this 21st century. And so one needs to study or contemplate this. So right now is if one has to this study this, then there is uh, one can learn in Tibetan language. Through Tibetan language, we can learn this.
더 벽에 벽이 돌아야 네 간다진 레벨에 있어야지. 더 용거로다, 로. 가르세나 따지 두렵다 넘바 예바니 되니 야가 파비를 유디비 지 아니 리전 캐바젠디에 난주다 아니 티 지다 잠니 아니 샤쇼 야가 mam불아야 아니 다리어레스 라 임바 있나야 nganzu chik pyoge pyoyu tola ya tarba nanshin chik anin zamni gyakab shembala ya tar tuk yorwes na gyasha gyatamba tar tuk yo mares tar yo mares ta di shengo mares ro.
So this actually from Nalanda University, this Buddhism actually established, and so Nalanda University actually is in India, and this Buddhism went to other different countries also. But in the main practice or the main language, actually, this Buddhism went to, I guess, went to Tibet, and Tibet and Tibetan has done. Tibetan people have practiced it in a very good way.
직진나 nga pyoba inza korangi pyoge pyoyu la ya shengo chigidu samsigiro asira di zawin mares ro. Di nguyo nesu chik chago res.
Maybe you can think something like I'm a Tibetan and I'm getting biased about this, and it's not something like that, and it's a reality.
더 nguyo imba kareres laundi pena gyagani nanshu di pyola matar kong anji longba cheshu gyanala ya tariyores. Gyanala tariyore. An dini ba shasho gyaka mambula ya tariyores ro. Inay pyola tarba nanshinchik tariyo mares di. Di lorgyu tsega rowa na raya yores ro.
So before Tibet, actually Buddhism is established in China, but uh, this Nalinda tradition or Buddhism from India, actually it went to China and other parts of Eastern countries, but the real or main practice is uh, the real Dharma went to Tibet itself.
Di khandas res laundi pyogi 다지 gyara 망불이야. gyabon 아니 손진 감보 아니 gyabo 트송 덴젤라 소비 gyara 망부 rinlaya. 되니 gyagargi 나렌다기 케비 옹보 망부 별라 덴데슈. 아니 갑 투두기 다지 gyagar 레제 칼 톨 여비기 아니 나렌다기 케비 옹보 쪽이 손디데 아니 벽에 톨어서 귤 아니 지 벽이 아니 쉔기 벽이 가서 다지 남주지 망부지 야갈라 챙각이 아니 야가기 이기 야가기 추 장야 땅 아니 디니 추용 디 벽에 톨어 벽에 톨어 디니 디라야 롭종치 델라야 심주치 디치 벽이 만덴바자 마인바 안 디기 아니 톨라야 가서 다지 chiwatilin teni gom gyab tus longo tongtra mangbu rinla ya tus nangba yinza ani pyoge tola ya chang tsama chik pyoge keda ige tola ya chang tsama yong tu ya di tindi chini chong yores.
So, as I said earlier, in Tibet, main Buddhists, or from since it has came from India, we have kept this tradition in a very good way. So then, how this happened? So Songtsen Gampo, this is a Tibetan king, and some other kings too. They have sent their students to India, and they learn uh, many different things. And also, they invited Nalanda professor from India, and they learned this. And actually, uh, whatever actually these are all of these texts are in Sanskrit, and they translated to Tibetan, and Tibetan themselves they uh, they debate, and they have like question and answer sessions, and with this all this they have kept this tradition uh, very well even in today.
Tinza da di iye da rigbi shonglu sananda di gi ani lobjong di da tyurub nishik bi mila ya hachang ka gongo shimbo chik chagi yorosra. Tindi gongo chingi 아니 링니 디 gyunzin yongda manung di pyo kede yigile ralde tandi chala ralde yoba inzang ani gyawarumbu chigi tela siji ni ani pyo tola yinba ina ya shoji kuli kyo yorosra.
So even in this 21st century, it is relevant to learn this Nalanda University tradition. And actually, as I said earlier, all this tradition is well kept by Tibetan people, and His Holiness has done lots of hard work to keep this tradition.
Tenza da gyawarumbu chigi gonglu gubju rinla ya gonglu gubju rinla ya chik chale na ya tuksam she ya kamyun na ya yonsu zoba di zambalingi chigi deduk tsawala ya mikchin chale di nanga wares.
His Holiness, as you all know, that he is right now he is 90 years, but whatever he is doing right now is always thinking about world peace, and whatever he do, whatever he thinks, whatever he teaches, this is mainly to help uh, for the betterment of world peace.
다 딘디지기 야오롱부지 따위기지 맨날 딘디지기 갸타 마송바이나야 주타 찍니진 잠블린데 나라 찍 랩토바이나 데닝한 잠블리 갸시 갸타마 셰딜라 끄토 그레스 디 마송바이나 디니 단 잠블리 다 가드나 다지 녀다 잔장 톨라 하야치 로 안지 미스 트럭저다 딘디 기페 양아위 내단지 고라야 아니 간주 메세키 고야 다 문트는 조그라 왔으라 딘자 디 마용 야치 아니 겨울무지 따우기 따지 아니 케우 딘디지기 아니 잠블리나라 용야기 차긴치기 여바디다 단주시와 나지다 야간이 템비기 아니 지 수균구다 잠지기 rig니디 디차가 어레스 딩안주 신고 그래서 이제 간주 디신야 등오르지야 디체도 아니 간주 델 소고요레 간주 들이 겨울무치 로니 땡겨레 참말로 겨울무치 공부들이 겨울무치 찰리들이 간주 있는 디체도 제기요레스 디차는 둘러샤로치스
So if we can produce such people like His Holiness, not 100, but even some 20, 30 people in this world, then I think we have done a very good contribution to this world. And I think this world will become more peace. And whatever we do and whatever, like even, okay, today we are going to watch His Holiness movie. It's because to understand or to study or to learn ancient Indian wisdom, such as, like love and compassion, to better or to understand all these great qualities.
Thank you. 안찬스 채워도요나 로 저딴 되고 있지 직송나 잠바
Pleasure.
채워요나
So
저딴으로 치스
if you have question,
We're going to start from the front row and then take turn. All right, those of you who have time to think.
Thank you, Geshe-la. My question is, does the Dalai Lama know that he is an emanation of a Buddha? Because I understand that he is the embodiment of Chenrezig. So does he know this? And what does that change if he knows that he's the emanation of a Buddha?
and 공서주 고라니 지당이 하고 줄라스라 아니 공서주디 아니 글쎄 그래 산다 바보 진리스기 남주레스 이니 아니 다자 템비기 남주레베스 근데 임버디 공서주 고라 킹기 요레베스
야채 송고레스 야채 쌀망부 송사레스
다자 템비기 남주스고
라
다자 템비기 남주레베스
다자 되비 남자 다자 되비 남주이랑 인다 송요 말레스 바보 투지 쳔보다 제와 토모 많이 비 제와 여바디 쌀망부 송요레스 아니 바보 투지 쳔보슬라운디 아니 땅에버 탱라 아니 좀 된 디기 투규기 심전 탐제레 제위 somebody 하라 샤샤와지 디차고레스 띵상 에버 탱라 아니 야오롱부체데 산지 좀 된 디기 투규기 아니 제와 닌지 쳔보디 지미 넘발이야 샤샤와지 에버 탱라 디 샤지 능겨레스
Of course, as you said, His Holiness is Manishan of Avalokiteshvara, but with regard to whether he himself is Manishan of Buddha or not, it's difficult to say. But anyhow, what we can think is in Buddha, he has compassion, and this compassion is actually emanated to Avalokiteshvara, and His Holiness always says that he has a very uh,
Good connection.
good relationship with Avalokiteshvara. So that's why, by knowing this, then we can say that His Holiness is also emanation of Buddha himself.
Well, you get a chance to ask him yourself if you come to the pilgrimage.
It's okay. Thank you so much. Tishawa. Tosin be our chance. Chambala.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you.